and Placements. You can see it here, OCLP. And इस think tank में basically triple helix का हमें बाद में पता लगा. हमने कहा policy making में government, industry, academia जब तक इकट्ठा नहीं होगा, we cannot fight anything and we cannot move forward. The idea was Pakistan from factor-driven economy to idea-driven, innovative economy, ताकि हम substantial GDP growth rate कर सकें और अपने society के लिए कुछ कर सकें, अपने लोगों के. तो उसमें then we found that there are 5G workforce which is active everywhere. तो and 5G में legacy है और जो millennials and the generation Z है, उसमें youth है, energy है, passion है, desire है, तो उनको merge करके recommendations बनानी चाहिए because they are the future leaders. They have to drive our lives. तो उन लोगों ने मिल के हमारे लिए चीजें करनी है, तो जो कुछ हमें पता है हमको ट्रांसफर कर दें और वो उसको लेके अपनी थॉट से आगे चलें. तो I would request Miss Maria to run the animation of ICDF logo. वो भी थोड़ा सा रन कर देते हैं to give the flair and flavor of the thing. अच्छा साउंड नहीं आ रही इसकी. अच्छा इसमें वो साउंड नहीं थी, लेकिन anyway, just to give the flavor कि this is the thought line and the talk line जिस पे हम जा रहे हैं. So we look for very capable people to come on board with us, talk to us. हमारे special table sessions होते हैं जिसमें एक diagnostic lab होती है जिसको हम red session कहते हैं. फिर हम उसके solutions पे जाते हैं, जिसको green lab कहते हैं. उस पर action plan पे जाते हैं जिसपे हम student body को भी on board लाते हैं. और उसमें if these are the decisions we have to take, then how to implement them, what is the timelines, ताकि हम एक collective measurable impact. So much for the forum. Now I would like to introduce our eminent learned panelists. Dr. Hassan Wright. Thank you, Dr. Saab, for joining us. And Dr. Hassan is PhD in computer science with major in AI and ML, AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is the jargon of today, from the top University of Netherlands. And he has more than 13 years experience in Europe and Middle East, and he was chief data scientist for RTA, which is Road and Transport Authority of Dubai, very powerful body, and he is teaching as well now. And mashallah, he has helped several machine learning algorithms, which is the ultimate thing, driving algorithms for data quality. And he has developed innovative products across several industries, such as transport, smart city, IoT, which is again, then real estate, telecom, digital health, retail, and so on and so forth. The list goes on. Plus, he has written a lot of papers, and he has read them in the nice forums, publications bahut sari hain inki. So we welcome him. Then we have Miss Mariam Arshad Mahmood. She is a hybrid marketeer, a tech enthusiast, a tech-savvy future of Pakistan. Inshallah, we will be seeing them, coming up and taking this Pakistan to next trajectory. She's a social entrepreneur and a public speaker and active TDX player. She also leads Google Business Group Peshawar and rank amongst the top 10 chapters of the world as recognized by Google itself, and Startup Grind Peshawar. So, mashallah, we are very happy to have you with us, Ms. Mariam. Then we have Mr. Ali Gohar. He is head HR Engro Digital. So this is the age of digital, and I think we have a very relevant panel here. driving from algorithms to, getting this. He's an expert in HR systems in tech industry with around 13 years of professional and experience. Can you please block all the mics? Primarily, he is a thoroughbred HR professional with all the 5 domains of HR as his core. And we welcome you, Ali Saab, also. So before we proceed on, we move to the first round of questions. And अच्छा, ये हम क्वेश्चंस करेंगे, इसके बाद एक हम शॉर्ट पोल करेंगे. उस पोल का ये चैट में आ जाएगा फॉर्म. उसको आपने काइंडली 3 सवाल हैं, सिंपल से 1 मिनट का टाइम है, आपने फिल करके रिस्पांस दे देनी है. वो रिस्पांस हम सबसे शेयर करेंगे because we want to drive it to some angle. And there will be 3 such polls because we have to drive it in some direction, as I said earlier. Okay, now I'm going with the round 1 questions. I'd like to start with Dr. Ehsan. Dr. Saab, we like to have your thoughts on the legacy system एक था जो historically करते आ रहे थे, people of my age and my tenure and even today. What we have seen कि ये COVID-19 आया, इसने आके ऐसी disruption कुछ create कर दी है कि lot of confusion is getting created, and then social media ने तो और ज़्यादा उसको multiple dimensions दे दी हैं. So we like to understand from you कि जो migration from legacy system to new normal जिसको हम कहते हैं कि अब new landscape, new workscape is emerging. तो उसमें how you see things moving forward, और legacy का कितना contribution रहेगा या legacy खत्म हो जाएगी and we'll have totally new normal, a new landscape, new workscape requiring new skill sets, and how you see it, sir? We like to have your thoughts on it.
Sure. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Holly for this opportunity. And I think it's a very good, relevant question with the current situation. You already mentioned the people, but I would say that not only the people, we should see also the processes, the skill set, and the technology around actually. And so when we say the legacy systems, it's not only, the skill set. So we should have to see what are the main dimensions of this one. Okay. So if you see the technology, okay, so yeah, I would say that technology will play a big role actually in this one, because look at like how we are work from home actually. Okay, so this is one of the I would say that, and of course when we say technologies, means emerging technologies. Okay, especially if you look at artificial intelligence. Okay, so they are playing actually a quite big role in current situation and also in the post COVID-19 situation. Similarly, skill set. Okay, there is a traditional way, like we know that there are some traditionals, learnings. If you look at nowadays, e-learning and e-education. Okay, so especially if you see the skill set. Okay, I would say that people should need to learn more, on the collaborative knowledge or knowledge sharing platforms. Okay. Similarly, processes, I would say that processes, the current processes, especially if I see on the IT management or consultancy in these domains, processes are going to be maybe completely, the change in they cannot drive the business actually in the current situation. Okay, so I would say that the situation will change on each pillar. We need to look at how we can cater this situation and how we can actually enable people. Okay, because again, when we say enable people, so technology will play its own role to enable the people in the current situation. People need to learn new norms, how to move it further on, because I can see that, or maybe later we will talk on few areas actually which are actually really got disrupted. Okay, and how economies were around those, certain areas, and they have no way to go actually now. Okay, so 80%, 90% their business, they don't have actually any more business. Okay, so it seems that, okay, of course technology is going to play a big role. Okay, and not only technology, I would say that people, processes, and skill set.
Okay, great, Dr. Saab. We'll come back to this because you have touched a very important point of people and processes and the pivots of economy, how it's going to drive. We'll come back to these points in our talks. Ms. Mariam, I would, you're a technopreneur, and you know, you have been interacting with a lot of people and with youth, and you have been, mashallah, doing a great job. So, in your opinion, what do you think that COVID-19 and the similar things, something can hit tomorrow as well, we don't know today, it has impacted the entrepreneurial ecosystem? And how do you see entrepreneurial ecosystem landscape changing after all this? Because abhi tak ye tha कि we were trying to make tools and things, and then we are going to incubation centers, getting incubated, coming up with the things. बहुत सारे उसमें आए, for example, transport related. They are getting stuck badly and they don't know the future. So I'd like to have your thoughts on it. कि आप कैसे देखती हो entrepreneurial ecosystem को going forward, and और हमें क्या देखना चाहिए, and any other thoughts which you can share, please.
Sure. Thank you, Khalisa, for giving the opportunity to join in today. I'd like to mention that besides being a tech entrepreneur, I happen to run my own enterprise, Impact Dynamics, and we actually we help support incubation centers with the curriculum curation and development, and we also work with startups, of course, directly and indirectly. Having said that, this was unprecedented, and like the last plague that hit like 100 years back, which was influenza, we're back in the same spot, and where we don't know what to do, because and slowly and gradually things are moving forward. We're moving forward in the right direction, I suppose. What I have to say is that every obstacle is also an opportunity. I mean, I'll definitely come to the opportunity bit. Talking about the obstacles as far as the entrepreneurial landscape is concerned, generally speaking, this year in investments, like in startup investments, we're bound to lose around like globally 28 billion US dollars. I mean, there will be little investments to no investments, and those little investments will also be around areas which are probably related to COVID, or will mark social rehabilitation prior, in response to whatever is happening right now. The startups that have been greatly hit and greatly affected are the ones that work which have a lot of in-person interaction, or you mentioned mobility. That's very right. Airlift is a startup that raised one of the largest investments in Pakistan in 2019, and actually has halted their operations. So it's a big loss in those terms. And then we see a lot of e-commerce businesses. Initially, they suffered because of the lockdown, but now because there's like a partial lockdown right now, and things are taking a better turn. So they're slowly and gradually they're recovering. I also would like to add in over here that Pakistan had started working its way towards travel and tourism, and so all the startups that were centered around tourism, actually they are suffering majorly as well right now. So these particular sectors in particular are facing a loss majorly. Generally speaking, a lot of other startups which require interaction, because I do believe that a lot of things can be done online, but I'm also an advocate, a very strong advocate for that matter, that not everything can be done online. A lot of things require in-person interaction. For example, if you need to get like a skills set program online, you actually need to record it, and you would need the equipment, you would need the camera person, you would need other people, the other team. An example would be the masterclass. I mean, it has worked out well, and a lot of people are online taking courses these days because it's convenient from home. But all the sessions were actually recorded previously, right? So businesses in general have been affected, but these particular industries or sectors that I mentioned, especially in relation to startups, they have been greatly hit. I hope that answers my question.
Yeah, that's great. We understand that sports, travel, tourism, aviation, resorts, hotels, a lot of economies were based around them, and we are seeing that probably till this time everybody gets vaccinated, which is probably end of 2021, we don't see them taking light going forward. So we'll come back to you with the next question. So I'd like to move on to Mr. Ali Gohar. Ali, you are, after this, Maria, I would like to launch the poll after Ali's first thoughts. So Ali, how do you see that this pandemic has affected world of work, and which employees are on the highest risk? Because we have seen a lot of furloughs, a lot of the unemployment data in US has gone up like anything, and how it's going to affect the morale of the workforce, and because people are anxious and they want to know what is happening, and how to cope with the absence of human contact. We have now entered into low touch economy, and as Dr. Saab was saying, and also Mariam was saying, that this is where we need to go on high touch are gone. So how do you see, and then what in your opinion is importance of collaboration, adaptability, flexibility of the employers? Because gig economy, which you used to say you used to giggle around too many jobs to survive, probably that's going to shape up again. So I'd like to have your thoughts, Ali, on this, and then we will run poll after this. Thank you, Ali. Please. Ali is online. Can you hear me, Ali? Yeah.
I can. I am speaking as well. Can you hear me?
Your sound is not really there.
Hassan is probably nodding. I think you can hear me, right? Can you guys hear me?
Probably.
We can hear you.
Hassan, I think you can. Raise your hand, Hassan, if you can.
I can't really hear you.
And Mariam is on the video. Mariam, can you hear me? I can't hear you. You're on the mute.
You're mute actually. Mariam, you're mute.
Mariam, you're mute.
Yeah, so I can hear you, but your voice is muffled. It's like a low volume.
Okay, I can just put the laptop a little bit closer.
Yeah, or it could be louder.
Okay, now you have to see a much bigger face now. All right, anyways. Okay, so Khalid, can you hear me now?
It's there, it's not there. Do you have headphones? Probably that they will help. At times laptop speaker system doesn't really support. Aap settle down karo. In the meantime, Maria, you please run the first poll, and in the meantime Ali will settle down.
Just to audio test myself. Can you guys hear me?
That's great. Now you're great. Yeah.
All right. So are we going to the poll now, or
I think after you will go to the poll.
Okay. So I can see we're about 67 folks on this chat now. So for every one of us, each one of us, probably it's the first time in our life we're seeing something like this, something really unprecedented. Even at the time of our forefathers or my parents, I remember my mother used to tell me, my mother belongs to a village in Narowal, and that's a village on the border area. And she used to always used to tell me that you always used to have floods, heavy floods in the month of July and August. But that thing also used to last for about only, let's say, 15 days to 20 days or 1 month. So this thing started, so everybody, including all of us, we started guessing for how long this is going to take. So most of us thought that this thing is going to be there for good 2 months, good 2-3 months. And when we were saying 2-3 months, we meant a lot of time. But now we are in the 3rd month, and this thing looks far from over. So as far as the business, the impact on the business is concerned, definitely the impact is, for example, I was discussing this thing with my father this morning, that, for example, a shadi hall is closed, then their respective supply chain is affected as well. Not only the workers, the people who were providing food and their vendors, they're affected as well. So all the supply chain till the first person who is initiating that is affected. But the good thing is we are humans, and we get fed up really, really quickly. So this thing is acting like a blessing in disguise. So this thing is acting like a blessing in disguise, because we want to fight back, we want to go back to work. And this is not only happening in Pakistan. We have been hearing news in the US, in Britain, which was going in the different model already. So when everybody wants to go back to work, this means business back again. So from where I see it, keeping in mind this particular trait of humans that we really want to go back in action, I see this thing lasting not more than a month or two now. Obviously, the effects will stay for a longer bit of time, but I think because this thing is, many people do believe that this thing is going to be there for about 12 months to 18 months. My perspective is a little different. I think this thing will be over pretty soon. I'm very hopeful about it.
So good to see some positive outlook on this also. Here, Maria will run the survey, please. We had poll option, but that is not really working well, so we thought to go with the Google survey form. So Maria, over to you, please. So, हो गया? Is it in the chat? Okay. Poll is there now. Kindly fill it up. You have 1 minute. And your time starts now. And we will flash the results immediately after this. And I will be requesting Ms. Sarah Iqbal Khan to, tell us about the results. And then we'll discuss it further. Some people can't access the poll. Khwaja Jalal and Fasur Rahman. Done.
Sir, it's
Maria,
showing you need permission.
Okay, Maria, बहुत सारे लोगों का तो हो गया, कुछ लोगों के लिए परमिशन मांग रहे हैं, तो kindly edit and resend maybe.
सर वो कर दिया है, it has been resent. अभी refresh करेंगे तो हो जाएगा.
Okay, refresh करें please तो हो जाएगा. Sarah has played a very important role in Innovation Capital Development Forum, and she has been the main driving force actually. We'll share some documents और आपको invite भी करेंगे in our next sessions. She is a chief disruption officer, so she has a habit of disrupting everything, including the value chain and the supply chain. So Ali kya supply chain disrupt hogi, so the new expectations of delivery are different. And Dr. Ehsan would like to maybe in the second round, we'll take his views at how to satisfy this emerging new value chain of expectations. And okay, Maria, can you run the results, please?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna run the results. So, can you see the screen?
Okay, yes. Do you
Right,
feel
so
anxiety about COVID-19? Please explain, Sarah.
Yeah, so far 35 participants have responded, and out of 35, 71.4% they agree to this thing that they're feeling anxiety, and 28.6% are of the view that they are not that much affected. Second question was, do you feel there is less clarity in careers and work scope post-COVID-19? out of 36, 75% have said that, yeah, they feel there is less clarity. And third question was, are you willing to upgrade your skills to develop your career post-COVID-19? So out of 36 responses, 94.4% have agreed to this statement. So this was the first poll.
So Dr. Hassan, maybe, people are willing to move to your direction, upskill, keeping you do the new things. So I'll come to the second round of questions now. And again, Dr. Hassan, coming back to you, you have seen the results of the first poll also, that anxiety is high, clarity is not there, ambiguity is there. इसका हमने एक session हम run करते हैं, इसको VUCA, if you know. We have entered the age of vulnerable, uncertain, complex and ambiguous times, and human being has evolved. हमेशा से fight out किया, जैसे अली भी कह रहे थे, and inshallah we'll fight it out again. It may take little more time or less time, but we'll emerge as winners eventually. Human being की trait ही ऐसी है. So, Dr. San, what are the new emerging opportunities in the area of data science? Because we are entering into low-touch economy. People have anxiety, but they're willing to learn. You see, the majority has said we're willing to upskill and upgrade our skills. And then one very अभी आप जिन लोगों से बातचीत कर रहे हो ये इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग हम स्टूडेंट से भी शेयर करेंगे, सब तरफ जाएगी. एंड तो एक बड़ी कंफ्यूजन है कि डेटा साइंटिस्ट होने के लिए आपका सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर होना या प्रोग्रामर होना जरूरी है, और कुछ लोग कहते हैं कोई जरूरत नहीं है, पाइथन आ गया हुआ है, उसकी अपनी लाइब्रेरीज हैं, यू शुड नो हाउ टू क्लीन द डाटा, यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड द एंड गेम, क्या चीज ड्राइव करनी है, और यू डोंट हैव टू बी प्रोग्रामर, यू डोंट हैव टू नो सर्टेन लैंग्वेजेस. लेकिन क्योंकि मेजॉरिटी पाकिस्तान में लोग सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड से इस फील्ड में आ रहे हैं, तो उनका एक इनहेरेंट बायस है कि जावा लैंग्वेज आनी चाहिए, और जबकि जो प्रोपोनेंट्स ऑफ जूली एंड पाइथन है वो कहते हैं कोई जरूरत नहीं है, और जो डाटा साइंस में लोग आ रहे हैं, डिफरेंट डोमेन्स के लोग आ रहे हैं, दे आर एक्सेलिंग लाइक एनीथिंग. अच्छा, नाउ व्हाट वी सी इज कि जितनी भी डोमेन्स हैं, जो भी बच्चे जो कुछ भी पढ़ रहे हैं, at the end of the day they should be able to extract data and put it to some constructive use whereby they can drive some information which is useful for the humanity. So I'd like to have your response to it, sir.
Yeah, sure. As you said that a lot of people, they are willing to learn, you know, the new skill set. Okay. And I think recently, if you have seen that maybe last couple of 5 to 6 years, I have seen in my career that people are either even chemist, physicist, mathematician. Okay, for mathematician and people who know statistics and software engineer programming background, maybe there is a kind of natural transition for them. Okay, but I have seen people, you know, from finance, even from marketing, as I told you before, chemist, they are also coming into this domain. Okay, so I would say people came because it looks fancy. Okay, people are getting, you know, very high salaries. Okay, in this domain. Okay, very high. But if you ask me the question, that I think people are blindly coming. Okay, of course there is a demand, there is a high demand. Okay, still if I see that, I can see around in Dubai, especially in my company, even I have seen other companies, we are still posting job for the data scientist. Okay, we are still looking for the data engineers, we are still looking for the data analysts, even though that we are going to fire, you know, around 15% of our total cost. Okay, but still in this domain we are looking forward. Okay, I always people suggest who willing to come into this field, please try to make a transition which seems actually acceptable for the people. For example, if I'm hiring nowadays, I always prefer to hire people who are actually coming from a software engineering background. Okay, why? Because there is a concept of no full stack data scientist. Okay, so what does it mean by full stack data scientist? I don't want to hire a data scientist who will take a data set, okay, clean it and build the model and show me some output. No, I need a data scientist actually who knows end to end, like from source system to put something into production. Okay, so this is the one thing. Another thing is that it depends on the organization. If you are in small organizations, usually people go for full stack data scientists. But if you are in a corporate organization or enterprise organization, those organizations are actually having, you know, proper roles. Okay, data scientist is just one role. I would say that in a very bigger picture is one role, which is maybe having, maybe I would say 25 or 20% or 25% in the overall picture. You have a data engineer. I would say that over the time, data engineers will be more relevant role in this domain. Why? Because as Mr. Hollis said, that a lot of, you know, libraries, Pythons are coming, and people just like 1 or 2 lines of code and people can do whatever they want. And even a lot of tools are coming from Microsoft, Google, IBM. They are providing some platform like AI or machine learning platform. They were also helping them a lot actually. So I would say data engineer is another role. If someone from you are very good in database or in SQL, all this and with that background, they should go for data engineer. There is a data analyst role. There is architect role. There is a big data developer role actually, which is actually becoming very important role in our domain. And then of course when we say that the full data science team, we are also hiring backend developer or maybe full stack developer. Okay, so these are the roles actually. Now, another question, what is the ideal skill set to be a data scientist? So always we look for three things. First of all, of course, programming experience is very important. But let's suppose if you have one programming language, if Java, Python, it's easy for you to make it to the Python. The second thing is important that you should have at least some mathematics background. Even if you are coming from any domain, maybe chemist, from wherever you are coming, you should know the basic mathematics and you should know the basic statistics, which is very important because without it, you cannot survive in this domain. And then of course, you should go for the machine learning and AI and everything. And the last thing, which is very important, I always encourage people to go and learn the domain knowledge. And of course, it comes from the experience. Nobody knows all the domains, okay? As Mr. Harad mentioned that I have already worked in 7 to 8 different domains, but I work and I got the experience. But the domain knowledge is very important. Let's suppose if you want to be in a transportation, you need to know what kind of problem transportation they have it, okay? So if you don't know their problems, how you can help them actually, okay? So you have to be proactive.
Mario, please block all the microphones. बाकी लोग बीच में.
Yeah. So I think the domain knowledge is very important in our domain. Okay. So these are the skill set. I would say that even if Mr. Khalid, we can have a maybe separate session where we can speak about all the skill set actually in detail, because I would say that in current situation, a lot of people maybe will, even more from the software engineering background, they will move into this direction. And then the second thing I will highlight again about some, you mentioned some, this delivery or this chain logistics, okay, all this. So I would say that data science and AI again can play a big role actually, okay, in this new situation, okay. If you see that after post-COVID-19, what is emerging actually, which is mostly people are going to work on robots, okay. People are going to, if you look at the if you look at the education, people are moving to the e-education or online education. In healthcare, people are going to telemedicine. People are also, looking at e-pharmacy solutions. Okay, they want to get their drugs at their doorstep. If you see that a lot of
Maria, please block all the mics.
Yeah. So similarly, I would say that AI will play a major role in drugs development, okay, in contactless. If you see that a lot of maybe visuals, because machine learning is playing a key roles also in visual analytics. So it means that a lot of invention will come into the visual analytics, where we say the image processing, image analysis, okay. So I would say that these are the 5-6 areas where, even if you see from the startup point of view, a lot of investment will come into healthcare, into education sector, and also maybe supply chain, logistics. Okay, these will be the major areas you will see right after the situation in even in terms of investment or in the new system. So these are, I would say, that the key areas, and of course AI is going to play a major role in this.
Great, Dr. साहब, एक सवाल आ रहा है कि एक बच्चा पूछ रहा है कि Python language should be enough. Is it enough or not? कि मुझे मजीद कोई और languages भी करनी चाहिए. मैं आपको मिसाल देता हूँ. I know some people, कुछ students हैं जो engineering background के हैं, उसके बाद वो data science के area में उन्होंने online courses किए, Udemy पे और बाकियों पे, and they became so good कि जहाँ पे वो काम कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पे जो दूसरे लोग हैं जो सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड से आए हैं, उससे बहुत बेहतर वो डाटा मैनेजमेंट भी कर रहे हैं, डाटा इंजीनियरिंग भी कर रहे हैं. and they are creating the solutions, और उनकी companies ने उनको काम देना शुरू कर दिया, software engineers को हटा दिया, and they are good in SQL and Python, और वो data cleaning में भी अच्छे हैं, और end game क्या है किसी भी industry की कि वो क्या चाहते हैं उस data से, business intelligence क्या draw करनी है, वो उसकी अगर समझ हो तो I have seen some people who are with non-software engineering background, but they are performing much better than them. और ये भी एक चीज थी, तो we'll have a separate detailed session with you on that. We will like to take advantage of your knowledge and skill, माशाल्लाह. अभी एक दो सवाल हैं, उसमें is Python enough? Quick answer, yes, no?
I don't think so. Okay, Python it's like okay, there are mainly two languages, R and Python. R, I always say that's a more academic language, okay, academic and research for language for data science. And Python is more, industry language, and it's easy to deploy. Okay,
Right.
But Python is not a single one. You need to know, a lot of other technologies and framework. For example, I will clearly say very high level. You ingest data, you store data, you process data, and you visualize data. Okay.
Right.
So all these four components, they are having maybe hundreds of technologies coming into the market. Okay. So it depends on on the skill set, especially in our field, it's growing very, very fast. So every day new technologies or frameworks are coming. So
Python
a quick
question here. I was talking to some software, क्योंकि इसमें सवाल बड़े आ रहे हैं, तो मैं उसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा आपका टाइम ज़्यादा ले रहा हूँ.
Sure.
जो basically जो मैं काफी सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग हाउसेस के जो ओनर्स हैं उनसे मिला हूँ, काफी उससे बात हुई है. देयर अबाउट ओवर 200 इन आवर पैनल आल्सो. वो ये कहते हैं, जो कि सेल्फ मेड उसमें ज्यादा लोग हैं, वो ये कहते हैं कि हमने टेक्नोलॉजी भी फोकस नहीं किया, हमने फोकस किया प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स पे और एनालिटिकल स्किल्स के ऊपर. और टेक्नोलॉजी तो रोज नई आती जाएगी, आप उसको सीखते जाओगे, करते जाओगे, बट ये दो स्किल्स अगर नहीं है तो बाकी कुछ भी चलने वाला नहीं है. तो ये थॉट थी, तो इस पे जस्ट
I completely agree with them, because we always look for thinker or who are good actually in problem solving. But the problem is that nowadays we have a good thinker, we have a very good problem solver, but our industry is actually lacking people who actually can execute. Okay. So for example, if I see I have no people in my previous team was very big one. I was having 25 people. In my current team now I have 8 people with me. So I can see there are two maybe good thinker, but they are not good executor actually. They are not actually good in delivering. Okay. So you should always have a team of mixed people. Okay. You can have people who can think out of the box, but they cannot execute, they cannot deliver actually. Okay. So the ideal situation is that you should have a mix of good people, thinker, communicator, very good storyteller. By the way, data scientists have to be a very, very good storyteller if you want to be a successful.
All right, great. Thank you, sir. I move on to Mariam. Very, very enlightening talks, by the way. After some, we'll have a separate session, inshallah, with our students. Miss Mariam Arshad, so you have heard what Dr. Saab was saying, and the question to you is, we see that landscape is moving towards more technopreneurship, and you are, mashallah, a technopreneur. So will COVID-19 and the things like this, which can come again, fuel the next wave of innovation in the entrepreneurial landscape? जो हमारे incubatees हैं या जो students हैं, वो एक नई wave of innovation आएगी, एक desire आएगी, because gaps create होंगे because of the disruptions जो अभी आई हैं, तो उनको fill तो करना ही है. And so in your opinion, how to look at new entrepreneurial initiatives? क्या देखना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए, किस चीज़ पे focus करना चाहिए स्टूडेंट्स को? और जैसे डॉक्टर साहब ने भी कहा कि टेलीमेडिसिन, हेल्थ केयर के ऊपर बड़ा फोकस आने वाला है, तो I'd like to have your thoughts on this.
As I mentioned earlier, every obstacle actually is an opportunity in itself. This COVID-19 will pave way, is actually already paving way for a lot of startups. Where I mentioned what are the obstacles, I'd also like to highlight the opportunities right now. There are a couple of startups that are already working on telemedicine in Pakistan, namely Sehat Kahani, run by Dr. Sara, who happens to be a great friend and acquaintance from Karachi, and they're doing a fantastic job with with telemedicine, and that's the need of the hour. So I see some startups already doing really well in certain sectors. So the ones that are working on medicine,
I think
or
the next speed is done, or
or even e-pharmacies for that matter. I think they're already doing a fantastic job. We have another startup based out of
I think
Hyderabad
you're
by the
freezing.
name of Sehat Caravan, and they also center their work around telemedicine. So they're doing really, really well. But besides telemedicine, I see another great opportunity for a lot of e-commerce businesses, because at least, I mean, Ali is very optimistic. I mean, being very practical about it, I think even if there's a surge, the effects of COVID can last up to 18 months for that matter. And during this time, I'm talking about the current COVID time, I see e-commerce doing really well because everything is either a doorstep away, a delivery away, or a click away, that is online. So, I mean, any kind of shopping or shipping, be it related to food, be it related to clothing, is all based around, centered around, e-commerce these days. So I think there's a great influx. There can be a great influx of ideas as around e-commerce for that matter. There already is. A lot of people have already jumped onto the bandwagon currently. Now, talking about the post-COVID phase and the opportunities that can arise out of this entire situation for the startups. One, I see so many social rehabilitation projects jumping up right now because of the entire COVID situation. There's ESAS Corona by a bunch of young volunteers. There's a government program as well, ESAS. I see all of these programs can actually be, they can actually be potentially be carried forward for the social rehabilitation in the longer term as well, with probably zonal areas, zonal demarcation, SMEs who would actually like to work on it. As far as technology is concerned, I'm a strong advocate that any and every field should do a marriage with technology. Because without technology, anything and everything nowadays will not be completely redundant, but to a great extent will actually be, either stagnant, slow, or there would be a slow and steady rise. As in the case of the COVID, like conventional businesses are completely down, as in the case, currently the case with COVID. I see a lot, this might come as a very different point because we've already touched base on medicine, health, telemedicine, e-commerce, which are also non-conventional. But I'd like to touch base on something that is very conventional and has a huge scope of growing after this. I see a lot can happen in the agrarian sector. Agri-tech. Pakistan is dominantly, working around, based around, we are an agrarian economy, and there is so much that can be done because basic human needs जो हमारी होती हैं, अगर हम उनको fulfill नहीं करेंगे, we can't move up in the tier. And I think a good, no matter if there's a, whatever the situation is, whatever the conflict is, it's a pandemic, it's not a pandemic, everybody needs food, and a good production, a good yield will actually satisfy and also increase our exports for that matter. I'm talking about sustainability over here as well. So I think agri-tech is something that can be greatly worked upon. I know Telenor is already working on it as a corporation, but I think a lot of work can be done around that area. It can grow. And besides that, there's a report published by Google as of 2018, which mentions that Pakistan is on its way to become a digital first economy. You might be surprised, we have more smartphone users in our urban cities than in our neighboring country, India, which has the third largest internet population in the world. So we have around 59 million smartphone users. So my company actually, we did a survey and we found out, we went to these very remote areas with the help of UN Women, and we found out that almost every other second home actually has a smartphone. And they actually already have access to 3G or a 4G connection for that matter. So the kind of impact that can create sitting at home and working on the digital literacy of your general masses and population, that is the kind of economic stability I think this entire COVID can actually, post-COVID, I mean, this can actually happen. So on an SME sector, as far as startups are concerned, and generally for the sustainability of the economy.
Great, Mariam. Good to hear your thoughts. Okay, mashallah, youth is looking forward and they're not scared of all such things, and they think there is a way out. So I will move on to Ali Gohar because we have to rush on time also. Okay, Ali, are you there? Okay, great. So Ali, now you have heard Dr. Saab and you have heard Mariam also. And there are a lot of questions coming up, but in the interest of time, I would like to focus on what we need to discuss. How can we seize opportunities in new dynamic changing environment? The hiring in the age of digitalization, you are taking care of this area. What is the best way to hire? How should students prepare themselves? And how to make graduates work remotely so that they can be employed? Or COVID-19 है इंशाल्लाह ठीक हो जाएगा कुछ और आ जाएगा, but we have to prepare now. It's a you know a heads up दिया इसलिए हमें कि तैयारी करो towards low touch economy. तो इसमें business critical graduates क्या होंगे आपके नजदीक and उनको क्या करना चाहिए? So I'd like to have your thoughts on it. Questions और भी बहुत सारे हैं, लेकिन let's move forward because we have to take care of time also.
Yeah, Khalisa, primarily, like Mariam said, probably this is going to last for 18 months, or for the matter, maybe I don't want to use the word optimistic, maybe I'm in denial that this thing will be over in about 2 months. But like we have seen a question from Alish that Python, ये सब languages का क्या फायदा जब lockdown हो गया तो सब कुछ बंद हो गया और सिर्फ survival mode पे सारे चले गए and all that. So I would like to take this opportunity to answer this question as well.
Okay,
regarding the because now as humans what we have started doing is we have started planning everything around COVID-19. We have started planning everything from the things we are seeing in the last 1 month. Maybe chale hum maan lete hain ki it's going to last for about 12 months or 18 months, but these all 70 odd folks in this conversation, they're not planning their career for the next 18 months. If they plan their career according to only with the COVID-19 in mind, probably that would be a short-term approach. So the world was changing anyway. COVID-19 or no COVID-19, the world was changing anyway. And the most of the stuff Dr. Ehsan was saying is actually changing the world anyway. The way we used to interact with all. But yes, all this scenario of COVID-19, it's helping us in a way to flex our muscles using technology more and more. So yeah, this is the thing which can help us in augment whatever we were doing. I'd say 1 साल पहले if you used to ask us कि हम इस तरह Zoom के ऊपर session कर लें, तो बहुत से लोग उसके ऊपर skeptical होते और शायद ना करना चाह रहे होते. बहुत से लोग कर रहे थे already, but जिस तरह से अब मेरी 4 साल की बेटी है, she's going to school online now. अगर मुझसे कहा जाता है एडमिशन के वक्त कि आपके बच्चे को हम 2 महीने के लिए ऑनलाइन पढ़ाएंगे, शायद मैं कभी भी ना मानता और शायद मैं भी ना मानूं अगर ये चीज ज़्यादा अरसा चलेगी. बट what happened was it helped us flexing our muscles. So my very sincere advice to all the folks, because हमारे पास ज़्यादातर लोग जहाँ पे ये हैं ये they are eyeing for the careers to start in the next, maybe if they're in the last semester in the next 3 months, or if they're let's say in the middle of the semester, maybe then in the next 1 year. Don't focus your career for the next 3 months. Don't focus your career for the next 12 months. ऐसी कोई फील्ड मत चूज कीजिएगा या एंटरप्रेन्योर ना बनिएगा सिर्फ और सिर्फ COVID-19 को ज़हन में रखते हुए, बिकॉज द नेचर हैज इट्स वे टू हील बैक. ये बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है जैसे अगर अल्लाह नहीं करे मुझे मेरी टांग पर फ्रैक्चर आ जाए और मैं पूरी की पूरी लाइफ उस फ्रैक्चर को लेकर प्लान करना शुरू कर दूं. सो आई नो इट्स गोइंग टू हील इन अबाउट नेक्स्ट 12 in let's say in the case of fracture in the next 4 months. So it's going to heal and then I have to get back to work as well. So there will be short term goals and there will be long term goals. Yeah, the short term goals. हमारे वो graduates जो पास आउट होने वाले होते हैं उनको 2 महीने में फौरन से नौकरी की फिक्र होती है, राइटली होती है. इन द इकोनॉमिक सिचुएशंस, प्रेशर फ्रॉम होम, देयर ओन सेल्फ रिस्पांसिबिलिटी कि हमने जल्दी से जाना है और एक्शन करना है कुछ ना कुछ, उसके लिए वो बहुत सारी चीजें शॉर्ट टर्म, जिस तरह मरीम ने बहुत राइटली कहा, ई कॉमर्स रिलेटेड की जा सकती हैं. लेकिन we need to focus that this thing is temporary. चाहे 2 महीने की हो या 18 महीने की हो, this is temporary. The world was changing anyway. We have to catch that train, जो कि change already हो रही थी. और कुछ और रहे ना रहे, एहसान ने बिल्कुल सही कहा. एहसान, मैं आपका नाम सही ले रहा हूँ? It's एहसान और एहसान?
Dr. Ehsan.
Ehsan, Dr. Ehsan. So the world was changing anyway, and Dr. Ehsan ने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि the data sciences it's going to shape the world anyway. And that's the long term short, and हमें उस पे ज़्यादा focus करना चाहिए. Whether we are an agriculture driven economy or हम कुछ भी कर रहे हो, that's the long way to go, in my humble opinion.
Great. So there's a change of mindset required, right? Or emergencies आती रहेंगी, चीजें आती रहेंगी, but you have to survive and life goes on, right? The show must go on. Great. तो अभी इस पे, and then you're right, absolutely. तो अभी let's quickly run the second survey. Maria, can you please upload it? There's 1 minute, guys. Just fill it up so that we can share the results. And Usman from Saudi Aramco is here. Usman, you can type your question and I'll ask the panelists to respond. Maria, are you uploading the questionnaire?
Yes, sir, it's on. Chat mein it's available.
Chat mein aa gaya?
Ji, sir.
All right. So,
So in the meantime, we can take questions from the chat.
okay. The actually जो chat में जो questions आ रहे हैं वो everybody is seeing, इसमें एक बड़ा अच्छा सवाल आया है, how to bring footfall back to shopping malls, billions of dollars की investment हो गई है. डॉक्टर एहसान साहब तो ऑलरेडी दुबई में हैं जहाँ पे it's all about shopping. पाकिस्तान लाहौर is also, पाकिस्तान में भी ये trend है, इंडिया में भी यही आया. So now there's a challenge how to bring the footfall back. It's a very interesting question actually. So इस पे just random thoughts, anyone of you?
Yeah, I would say I read this question actually. Okay,
Yeah.
and if you see that from data science perspective, we are doing actually a lot of footfall analysis using data. For example, how many people came into the mall, what were their nationality, age, group. We actually use telco data, and everywhere in the world, I think, I don't know about Pakistan, but in Europe or in Middle East, each telco is actually selling their data. Okay.
Hmm.
So, but I don't know, it's a big challenge for them actually to bring people back. Or even if you see that they are practicing like, the standard given by WHO for the social distancing, but still the malls are empty. Okay, I have been like 2-3 times since they lift actually all the restrictions here. I have seen that malls are almost empty. Okay, they're not allowing actually 2-3 people to walk together. Okay, so it will be a great challenge. And again, as my other colleague said, that it will be an opportunity then go for online e-commerce, and already people are doing.
But what to do about the billions of dollars which have gone into the shopping malls? And
that's a good point actually. I was talking with one of my friend here. He's also working as a data scientist, but he's with the high-end brands. Okay, so they were having a lot of outlets in the mall. So they immediately actually switched to an online platform. Okay, so they see there an opportunity. They started themselves even their own delivery actually. They're not only accepting the orders, they all started online delivery. But again, this question, I don't think so I can answer this question, to be honest.
so
This
let's
question,
let's wait for Dr. Fauci to come up with some vaccine so that we can start social interaction again. So are we online, Maria? We got the responses?
Can I just add into what Dr.
Please,
Ihsan just mentioned? Yeah, so it's just a phase. As Ali rightly pointed out as well, we all need to understand it's just a phase. It's not just the malls that are facing the loss. It's, as you mentioned rightly in the start, it's the aviation business. There's so many other businesses that are facing a loss. So people have shifted their mode of shopping towards online shopping right now. It hasn't stopped for anyone. I mean, you'll see online sales of all these big brands, they're fully functional and operational, but all happening online with the cash on off delivery model. The malls will be restocked, repacked. As I mentioned, my great grandmother, she was part, when there was the influenza pandemic, that was also a worldwide pandemic more than 100 years back, and things were not normal. But this is what I hear from my grandmother, that, life was at a standstill, but then people eventually forgot and things resumed back to normal. So this shall also pass, and it will greatly affect a lot of businesses, and a lot of alternatives will be sought after, but eventually people will come back to their usual ways. But I hope for the better, having said that.
Great. So there are some questions coming up. So आप लोग पढ़ रहे हो. I'll appreciate if anybody can take those questions. लेकिन poll के results आ गए, Sarah?
जी सर आगे.
Can you share?
Yes sir.
डॉक्टर साहब लोग पूछ रहे हैं ई वाले मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर्स या क्या करें. आई थिंक इनके लिए डाटा साइंस बड़ी आसान है. लेट्स लुक एट द डू यू हैव Sarah, please explain.
All right, second poll contained the question of, do you have sufficient clarity on what to focus during educational journey? Out of 30 responses, 73.3% have agreed to it, whereby 26.7% have disagreed. Second question was, do you have sufficient clarity about careers and how to prepare for them? Out of 30 responses, 60% agree to it and 40%, are denying from this fact. And third one is, are you convinced that you need to upgrade your skills apart from learning and have got clarity on which areas to upgrade? And 96.7% have agreed to this statement. So this was the second poll.
Okay, this is challenging. You see, now 97% think that they need to upgrade, and then a big majority कहती है we are clear about our academic journey and our careers also. So which means there is a clarity now that to be future-driven executive or to get into a future-oriented workforce, these guys need to upskill their knowledge, which will enable them to move into the future first. So great. तो डॉक्टर साहब ये questions हैं, ये quickly अगर 1 minute का answer दे सकें कि sir please raise the question that those who have different education field like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, what they do with AI and ML, it means that every student should switch its field to software engineering. इस पे मैं quick response दे देता हूँ because I'm dealing a lot with such things in my life. इस पे ये है कि no matter what domain you are in, चाहे वो health sciences हो, आप डेटा साइंस में सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग का रूट बेशक ना लें, आप एप्लीकेशन साइड पे बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स पे चले जाओ. डेवलपर प्रोग्रामर्स आपको वो सॉफ्टवेयर वगैरह बना देंगे. आजकल तो टूल्स रेडीमेड मिलते हैं और ऑल यू नीड टू नो इज कि डाटा की क्लीनिंग कैसे करनी है, इंजीनियरिंग कैसे करनी है, उसमें से आपने बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस कैसे निकालनी है. उसके लिए जो भी इंडस्ट्री है, डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा था, उस इंडस्ट्री का आपको पता होना चाहिए. और बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इन तमाम डेटा के थ्रू आपके बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस के डिसीजन निकालने होते हैं. या दूसरा रूट रिसर्च का है और जिस पे फिर आर एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ कम्स इन. तो इसको आप डेटा साइंस को ऑनलाइन कोर्स लेके यूडेमी पे, किसी पे भी कोर्सेरा पे एक आप कोर्स लेके देखो. इट विल हार्डली टेक 3 months ऑफ योर टाइम एंड यू विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ क्लैरिटी अबाउट डेटा साइंस. बल्कि आपको मजा आएगा. मैंने देखा है इंजीनियरिंग ग्रेजुएट्स की मैथ्स और स्टैट्स अच्छी होती है, एज अ रिजल्ट वो बड़ा अच्छा स्ट्रक्चर कर लेते हैं और उनका आउटलुक भी थोड़ा सा ज्यादा पैशनेट होता है. तो दीज आर माय क्विक थॉट्स. बाकी डिटेल प्रोफेशनल डायलॉग विल टेक फ्रॉम डॉक्टर साहब. ही इज द एक्सपर्ट इन दिस फील्ड. मैंने एक क्वैक वाला कमेंट दे दिया हुआ है. तो वी मूव ऑन टू द राउंड 3. तो डॉक्टर साहब, how do you foresee this crisis affecting the world? Will the recovery be shaped like V, U, or W, or L? And how can we respond, recover, eventually thrive? Because the game plan has changed, mindsets need a changing. अभी हम सर्वे में भी देख रहे थे कि people have realized कि they have to learn more. So, because at the end of the day, you have to emerge as winner at the end of this crisis. लेकिन जब स्पेनिश फ्लू आया था उस वक्त इंसान इतना एडवांस नहीं था इन मेडिसिन, हेल्थ केयर, डेटा साइंस. बच गया, फिर भी निकल गया. अब ये आया, अभी तो माशाल्लाह बहुत एडवांस्ड हैं चीज़ों में, एंड वी विल आल्सो इंशाल्लाह कम आउट ऑफ इट. तो how do you foresee the recovery and revival, and what will be your advice to the students who are in their mid careers, अभी एजुकेशन में हो या बेसिकली कहीं नौकरी करते हुए 5-7 साल हुए हैं, उनके लिए आपकी क्या एडवाइस होगी, कीपिंग इन योर इंटरनेशनल रिच एक्सपीरियंस माशाल्लाह.
Sure. I just want to add I just want to comment on the previous question, as I think my colleague Mariam, she said before that every business or maybe should marry with the technology, I would say. Yes. Something that is that. So I would say same will happen with the data science now. So either you are in mechanical or civil or in agriculture, in medicine, everywhere you will see that AI is playing a heavily role. So it means people should go and learn at least the basics of AI or data science, how actually this function work actually. Okay, so this is like just I want to comment on that one. And the second thing, I always advise people that try to be like, for example, a lot of people contacted me on the, especially in the LinkedIn, okay, even in Dubai, like, okay, we would like to take some advice. So for example, recently I met one guy, he's from Pakistan, he's having around maybe 20 years of experience, and I don't know why he said, oh, I would like to be moved into this domain. Okay, so my advice to this person was that, generalize, look, already you are doing 20 years of, you are having 20 years of experience, and you are mashallah good in security. Okay, so why you would like to be in a field where you will get paid maybe 10% or maybe 20% less than from the beginning? So I asked him, please be try to best in your own expertise. I said, look, you are a security guy, you have IT security experience, so for you it's much better if you see that how AI and data science or maybe machine learning can help in AI, in security. Okay, it's a lot of things need to be done in security, in privacy, or in data management or data quality. I said, this is the first thing you have to look. And the second thing, you don't need to be a programmer. The level where you are actually currently, and if you, let's suppose if you do maybe 10 courses on Coursera or Udemy, and you come to me, you said, oh, Ehsan, can you hire me that? I will not hire you a data scientist, because you are having a 25 years experience, and you are equivalent to my junior. Okay, so maybe I am going to pay like, or maybe 3,000, 4,000 US dollar. Okay, but your expectation is maybe 12,000 US dollar. I cannot pay that. Okay, so my advice to this guy, look, you can go on the business side. Okay, so there is a role actually in our teams, we call it product manager, or maybe, product manager is a very typical role, but this role is now coming into our domain also, where you can play the role of bridge between data science technical team and the business actually. Okay, so what is the problem at this moment? Business people, they doesn't know how they can benefit from the data, and the data science people, they are actually suffering, because they have to educate every time to the business people how they can benefit from it. Okay, so that's why this new role is emerging very heavily in, especially in enterprise organization. Even I have a team of 10 people, and I'm also looking for that role in the next year, 2 roles, where I am looking for the people who knows their business very well. For example, if something related to the medicine, mechanical, or maybe civil or whatever, so at least they know the both sides. They know the challenges on the product side, and also they know the basics of AI and data science. Okay, so that could be a good advice for the especially people who are there in mid-career level, and they want to move into that one. But if someone is going to start their career, as I said before, okay, try to build your programming skills, try to learn the basic mathematics, statistics, try to be a good communicator, thinker, storyteller. Okay, analytical thinking is very important. Okay, and try to be productive. When you think something, some idea, also see can you execute these ideas or not. Okay, and especially see the business part. Okay, so for example, like people who are just going to start in this career, okay, for them I have an advice. If you go online and you can search a lot of open data source platforms. For example, in Dubai we have it, in Abu Dhabi we have it, New York we have it, in Sweden, Finland, in Germany, like each country, they are putting their open data source platform. You can go there, okay, you can search data set, you can play with your data. So don't ever try to be on the learning stage, try and build yourself. I can give you like 2 very encouraging examples from my team. I have 2 people now, they are both from Pakistan. One guy, he was RF engineer, working in telecom company, like four years before, and now he's working as a senior data scientist with me. And the other guy he was completely into different. He was a programmer, but he was really front end programmer. So they gradually moved to in this domain. But what they did, they went on Kaggle. Okay, they explored different data sets, they explored different domains, they participated in competitions. Okay, and they actually have seen something which actually build their experience. Okay, so don't try to be like forever keep on the go online Coursera or Udemy. No, go search data set, try to understand, okay, if this data set exists over there, how I can utilize, what kind of insight I can drive, how business can benefit from this.
Yes, insight driven. Insight is the main.
So this is very important. So please, like, try and do something which is actually useful, and you can build your portfolio.
Great. Students, there are a lot of questions coming up. तो आपके जो सवाल होंगे ना, हमें आप अपने email कर देना. We will get the answers from the panelists and आपको हम जवाब दे देंगे email पे. In the interest of time, because 9 बज गए and we have to quickly close in next 7 minutes, 8 minutes. So, Mariam, I will come to you now. So now you have given us some thoughts through agri-tech and other areas, and कैसे इसको हम अपना entrepreneurial ecosystem को आगे लेके जा सकते हैं to stay ahead of the curve. And so what would be your advice? How can we quickly recover? And how can we go for soft landing in new normal? Because life, of course, after COVID is going to change. So soft landing कैसे होगी? और आप क्या advice करना चाहोगे entrepreneurial hawks को?
Okay, so it's a very turbulent situation, and there's no right and wrong answer to this. But I strongly believe that the current course of action that everybody is taking right now in terms of startups, that's all right. But it will also give a lot of opportunity to the startups that have put their operations on hold or altogether have stopped working to see how they can revise their business model and how they need to pivot. So as I mentioned, and I just before joining this conversation, Dr. Yunus and I hold a high regard for him. Dr. Yunus of Grameen Bank, he actually gave an interview to the Gulf News, and he mentioned that I really hope that we do not enter a world with the old ideas. We enter into this new phase, the post-COVID phase, with new ideas, and that will only be possible if right now, when we are all in the thick and the very turbulent state, we start designing and we start thinking and we start reiterating our current business models. We all know that, and he proposed a very nice idea. So something for incubators that I like to mention, and something for, because we have very small venture capital firms in Pakistan, but we certainly do have a few. There need to be investment around, we should have more social businesses, and those businesses should completely rely around helping with the economic rehabilitation. And we can have investors look into and fund into that. So I really liked his idea. And I believe there should be environmental and social consciousness, both for that matter. And I strongly believe that businesses that have greatly suffered because of this can see how they can pivot and how they can revive well. They can see what other opportunities they can tap into, they can look into, so that when they're done with this phase, we have a bunch of fresh ideas to live by and probably, to execute as well. And
so
I'm sorry.
Please, carry on.
My advice to all the startups will be that I know it's a very tough phase. Personally, I know how hard it is to pay your team or your employees, prevent, layoffs. But this too shall pass. Persistence is the key. And I know it's very easy to say that, but I'm in the same boat. It requires a lot of grit and perseverance, but I think we will all get through this.
Thank you, Mariam. Great. So we have to go. Data mining की तरफ आप आगे Dr. Islam का area आ गया. You need to mine data, see your core strengths, your pivot points, where you can leverage yourself from, और वहाँ से then you have to build your new business model and new revenue models. Just from brick and mortar से e-commerce की game चली गई, and e-commerce is fastest growing business. लोग billionaire हो गए उसमें, the top names are from e-commerce. एक ज़माने में industry वाले होते थे. Fortune 500 has changed in last 5 years. सारी कंपनियाँ, and in last 2 or 3 years और change हो गई. E-commerce वाले सारे ऊपर हैं, बाकी सब नीचे रह गए. So great. So we need to do some introspection, data mining, come out with new resolutions and see which are our core strengths and from where to leverage our point of view. Great. Alisa, coming to you. How you see your domain now emerging post-corona? Will there be enough demand for the people, or घर से काम करने दोगे आप, क्या करोगे? I mean, how you foresee, how you're planning the future going forward?
When you say my domain, do you mean the HR or the
HR in digital age, right? मैं दोनों को merge कर दिया, HR and digital.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So if by digital you mean Engro Digital, yeah, again that is an artificial intelligence machine learning company. So yeah, this is connected. Yeah, this is absolutely
All right.
one and the same thing.
All right.
So yeah, like we said in the previous round as well, that we are just flexing our muscles accordingly. This whole thing is new and is dynamic, and it has a lot of opportunity as well. And one of the core aspects in the positive way is that we are accepting the new ways of doing it, and side by side we are not ready to hold ourselves back. We want to evolve, we want to create new avenues, though it's about technology and all that. So this thrive of technology, this thrive of relying on technology, on the internet, is amazing. Yeah. Imagine the world when there is some kind of calamity which might destroy internet one day, which might we never expected that we may have to be socially distant. Even if you see older movies these days and you see group of people sitting together, you already have started feeling कि यार ये लोग दूर दूर क्यों हैं और ये हाथ क्यों मिला रहे हैं एक दूसरे से, because we have started feeling this thing odd. So imagine a day in future where there might be no internet as well, and that may be result of another calamity in the world. So the thing which we need to learn is not e-commerce, is not data sciences, is the virtue of adaptability, and probably that is something inbuilt in humans, and that will take us forward.
Excellent, Ali. Maria, will you please run the third survey, because हमें 9:30 तक close करना है, वरना automatically off हो जाएगा. In the meantime, I'll share some thoughts with the panelists. You please run the third question. अच्छा, I'm trying to wrap the session up because time थोड़ा सा ऐसा है. एक तो हम पैनलिस्ट को एक फीडबैक फॉर्म भेजेंगे, काइंडली अपने आप उस पर व्यूज दे दीजिएगा, बिकॉज वी नीड टू इम्प्रूव आवरसेल्व्स आल्सो, एंड प्रॉब्ली टाइम थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. दिस इज व्हाट आई एम फीलिंग नाउ, बिकॉज बहुत सारी बातें बीच में रह गई हैं, बट आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ क्लैरिटी हैज कम अप. वी हैव सीन द सर्वे रिजल्ट्स कि काफ़ी चीज़ों की क्लैरिटी आई है. अभी थर्ड सर्वे रिजल्ट विल टेल अस लॉट मोर. तो व्हाट वी हैव बीन सीइंग इज जो कि हम फोर्थ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन की बात करते थे और ये वो, एंड वी यूज्ड टू स्टडी वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम रिपोर्ट के बाय 2025 2 billion jobs will disappear. By 2030 800 million of the global workforce will be displaced. 75% of companies will disappear. तो हम उसी हिसाब से अपनी प्लानिंग कुछ कर रहे थे 2025 2030 कि persona of graduate क्या होना चाहिए, so that he is 2025 compliant. कि his day of graduation should not become his date of obsolescence. तो ये कोविड ने तो 5 साल पीछे चीजों को लेके आ गया, and it has fast tracked everything, and we see all that happening now. तो दूसरा एक चीज जो हम देख रहे थे, स्टडी कर रहे थे, वो ये था कि आगे इमर्जिंग जॉब से वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम कहता है डेटा एनालिस्ट एंड डेटा साइंटिस्ट, AI ML, बिग डाटा and organization development and IT, which is fair, understandable. Low touch economy है, so you have to be dependent upon some tool जिससे आपने पूरी दुनिया से connect करना है. Emotionally, how will you connect? Probably new emoticons will come up. We don't know today. लेकिन एक बात तो ये है कि because we were gearing up towards IR 4.0, तो एक दुनिया का level of preparation था to some extent, if not extensive, कि वो एक डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रही थी कि जहाँ पे they can really manage the future. So then we came to this conclusion कि we must embrace tools of tomorrow to defend the security of our future. और tools of tomorrow जो हैं वो आज डिस्कस हुए हैं. वेरी हैप्पी डॉक्टर सान का भी कंट्रीब्यूशन, मरियम ने बहुत अच्छी बातें की, अली यू वर आल्सो ग्रेट, एंड यू नो हमें बड़ा एक ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम बड़ा क्लैरिटी के साथ सामने आया है कि we must embrace tools of tomorrow, and tomorrow is basically artificial or data or something, you know, with the numbers 1001. तो उस पे में देखना है. तो डिजिटल, अच्छा एक जो चीज बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, आप तीनों से मेरा ना आखिरी एक कमेंट मैं दूंगा बिफोर वी शो यू द रिजल्ट्स ऑफ दिस सर्वे. एक दो चीजें हमने बहुत केयरफुली, मैं I have spent a lot of time in the industry myself, तो मैं बहुत केयरफुली कुछ चीजें देख रहा था कोविड में कि एज ए इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट मैं क्या देखूंगा, क्या होना चाहिए. So I've seen different businesses, aviation, real estate, transportation, जो डॉक्टर साहब का है, RT I know RT guys very well, और बाकी भी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. तो logistics, supply chain, and I've written some policy papers also for World Bank, included in 1997-98. तो मैं ये देख रहा था कि जो डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है ना, टेक्नोलॉजी तो हम कोई सी भी खरीद सकते हैं. इट्स अबाउट द टैलेंट, और एक डिजिटल टैलेंट होना एक इट्स अबाउट पीपल और उनकी एबिलिटी एंड डिजायर टू लर्न. तो इस सर्वे से हम देखना चाह रहे थे कि क्या विलिंगनेस है लोगों में टू मूव इनटू दैट डायरेक्शन. आर दे विलिंग टू मूव फॉरवर्ड टू अपस्किल देयर थिंग्स. और हमने ये थोड़ा सा आईटी का फ्लेवर ज्यादा इसमें इसलिए रखा बिकॉज पोस्ट कोविड it will all be low touch economy. We'll be depending a lot on you guys and your advice and thoughts. तो हमने सोचा कि यही से हम इसको लॉन्च करते हैं. एंड इकोनॉमिक्स का मैं रिसेंटली पढ़ रहा था, एंड दे सेड कि द मोस्ट ऑब्वियस कॉन्सिक्वेंस ऑफ कोविड-19 will be infusion of data enabled services into every aspect of life. So no matter what we do, we'll be driven by data, and someday we ourselves will become our data, right? So Elon Musk ने अपने बच्चे का जो नाम रखा है, even he cannot pronounce it. So we will become a part of our data in this world. So we were thinking it's time to write new rules, and multidisciplinary collaboration with data science enabling environment is a must. आप जो भी काम कर, अभी पाकिस्तान में डिजिटल एज शुरू हो गई, डिजिटाइजेशन की बात हो रही है, लेकिन डिजिटाइजेशन उसी वक्त होगी ना जब डाटा होगा. जब डाटा ही नहीं है तो आप क्या करोगे? यू कैन नॉट क्रिएट इन द एयर. कोई स्टोरी तो लिखती नहीं है फिक्शन की. तो प्रॉब्ली वी नीड टू क्रिएट रिसोर्सेज. हम कुछ भी पढ़ रहे हो, हमें हमारा आउटलुक ये जरूर होना चाहिए, हाउ टू क्रिएट एंड एक्सट्रैक्ट डाटा, क्रेडिबल डाटा, एंड हाउ टू शेयर इट विद अ सेंट्रल एजेंसी, जहां से फिर प्रोजेक्शंस निकल सके, प्रेडिक्शंस हो सके, और उसके बाद ही प्रॉब्ली machine learning and deep learning and AI will be helpful, because if we give them total piece of trash, we say there is zero coronavirus case in Pakistan, so it will tell us that there will be a zero case in 2030 also. So basically integrity of data is the key, or integrity overall I think has to go up because of the e-commerce thing. So before that, agar ye Sarah, will you please share the results?
Yes, sir, I'm sharing.
And before the results come up, हमारा एक thought ये भी था कि ये जो नई जनरेशन है ये बड़ी लकी है. ये कोविड-19 इनके लिए रन ऑफ द मिल होगा, बिकॉज दे आर ऑलरेडी, इनका एनालिटिकल ब्रेन अच्छा है, दे आर पैशनेट एंड दे वांट टू कंट्रीब्यूट थिंग्स, और इनके लिए नेचुरल है इस डोमेन में लैंड करना जो न्यू नॉर्मल है. जो वर्क स्कोप पुरानी जनरेशंस का, जनरेशन एक्स, बेबी बूमर्स और बाकियों का है, उनके लिए माइग्रेट करना प्रॉब्ली जरा चैलेंजिंग होगा एंड दे विल सफर. लेकिन जो नई जनरेशन है, मिलेनियल्स हैं एंड जो जनरेशन जी है, इनके लिए इट विल बी जस्ट लाइक it's very normal entry into this new reality. So as you have rightly said, all of you, कि I fully endorse and agree to that, कि inshallah we will emerge as winners, और हम किसी और डोमेन में होंगे. हमारी ऑब्सोलेंस फैक्टर बहुत सारी चीजों का बहुत हाई हो जाएगा. तो सारा, will you please run the poll, please?
All right. Interestingly, the question responds to the question of, do you think you need to network with people of other domains for multidisciplinary collaboration? Out of 22 responses, 100% have agreed to it. It means that the students are more towards open innovation. Number two is, do you think we must embrace tools of tomorrow to define the security of our future? 95.5% out of 22 respondents have agreed to this statement. The third thing is, do you think digital transformation is about talent and now the technology? And out of 22 responses, 45.5% have agreed to this statement.
Great. So I think we are there. So my generation is already ready to upskill and they understand the challenges. और एक बहुत candid comment मैं दूंगा. उसके बाद I like to have one liner from everyone, and then we'll close the session. And thank you very much for participating in this webinar. I had a lot of takeaway from here. हम आपको questions भेजेंगे, kindly का जवाब दीजिएगा, अपनी thoughts, and stay connected with us. हमारा ICDF forum is available to you for any of your thoughts and talks. If you want us to arrange some event or something, we'll be very happy to do it for you. और end में it's all about people. एक ज़माने में जब हम business करते थे, हम देखते थे पहले profit, उसके बाद बंदों को देखेंगे people, rest will take care of itself. We'll throw all the plastic in the ocean, no problem. उसके बाद आ गया जी profit, people and planet के environment भी बीच में आ गया. I think now the game is changing. Now it will be people first, or say planet first, then the people, and then the profits. And I think that's where probably the governance mechanisms are going to change. Probably we'll find a lot more control over the human or the nationals of any country. We may find a lot of protectionism coming up. We may find a lot of things which were there historically after Second World War. लेकिन उस तरह के mechanisms फिर आएंगे. Need to know बढ़ जाएगा. Data about what Khalid is doing, what Dr. Saab is doing, what others are, what Ali is doing, what Mariam is doing will become of very high importance, because then they have to keep on navigating what possibly we can get into, and then how many people we have, how to feed them, और वो सारी चीजें बीच में आएंगी. तो I would like Sarah, if you have any comment, please make here. Maria, if you have any comment, please make here before we take one liner and close the session, please.
All right, just a minor announcement for the students who have questions. They can drop their questions in the email of oclp@umt.edu.pk. And in the end, Maria, I would request Maria to please read and the logo animation, which she was not able to play with the audio in the start. And after that, we'll close the session. It will hardly take 2 to 3 minutes.
So one line from you, Dr. Saab, then followed by Mariam and then Ali, please. Your advice.
In future, you will see that each and every business will be driven by the data. Okay, so people are moving more towards your data-driven decision-making or data-driven organizations. In that respect, I would say that people should put energy, especially in Pakistan, to bring some kind of platforms where they can enable our youth to have access to some data where they can build their skill set actually. So I would say that there is a need to very close collaboration between industry, academia, and government sector. So I think these are the 3 pillars who can play a major role to provide such a platform to the youth.
Dr. Whenever you're coming next to Pakistan, please do look up, and we'd like to invite you to our university to have detailed session with the students.
But I would say after post COVID-19, no, I have a feeling that whatever traveling I was doing before, it was okay. Everything is happening because
if you remember Star Trek, I think we are getting into the age of digitization. जहाँ पे वो कहेंगे beam me up, Scotty, and you'll be there.
Because to be honest, like pre-COVID-19, like every week I am traveling to 2-3 places. But no, I feel that I was doing there was something wrong actually. I'm not gonna do it after post-COVID-19. Yes.
Great, thank you, Dr. Saab, for your comments. Mariam, please, your thoughts.
So, I mean, we've talked a lot about technology. There's something that I'd like to bring in from the business perspective, and that is collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. Collaboration is key across different disciplines, even, across different sectors. You have absolutely no idea when a melange of ideas get together, a great concoction of something very interesting can happen. That is how great ideas are born. That is how great companies are born, actually. Collaboration is key. उससे competition जो है, अगर आपको लगता है आपका idea कोई copy करेगा, it's never the case. It's all about getting together and doing better than the rest.
Thank you, Mariam. Ali, we have about 1 minute left.
Yeah. Dr. Ehsan said something about technology. Mariam was more on the business side. So probably most of it is already done. So on the human level, basically now, this is something which is happening for the first and probably for the last time in our lifetimes, for the next 100 years maybe or something. A calamity on such a bigger scale. So it's almost like when we used to ask our forefathers and grandparents. How was it like in 1947, and how was it like in 1965 and 71 and all that? So this will be something like for us. So make use of it. This is unprecedented. Sitting at home for 2-3 months doing things which you have not been doing in the past. It's unprecedented. Make use of it, whatever way you could be, because this is probably going to happen for the last time in your lifetime. So all the positives you can take out of it, do take out of it. This is like Mariam said initially, every problem is an opportunity. So that is the opportunity part. We can spend more time with the family, let the nature heal, and we can spend, and on the professional side as well, we can spend a lot of time on learning as well. And like uh, all the professionals out there, uh, they're not spending any less time on work anyway. If they were doing, let's say, 7 things previously on a normal work day, they're doing 10 now because they're being more productive. uh, we had this discussion many times in our internal meetings in the company, that from this COVID-19 thing, lockdown thing, work from home, we have been more productive in that way. So learn
Great,
all these
Ali.
new things, and
Great.
yeah.
We are running. एकदम ये बंद हो जाएगा असल में तो I want to quickly wrap up the session. So at the end of the day, आप सबकी बातों से जो मैंने sum up किया है और summarize किया है वो ये है, which is a message for the student, which will take to our other students also, जब हम उनको अपने social media pages पे चलाएंगे, कि you can buy any tech, but your ability to adapt to digital future depends upon developing next generation skill set. So be mindful and just see how well can you land in the new normal, which will be a very normal for you. But for us, it will be a new normal because you're a matrix age kids and you'll be able to do very well. And I think your careers will be excellent with the new emerging technologies. All depends upon how much time you invest in your own skill development in the emerging age of low touch economy. Thank you very much, all the panelists. Sarah, please quickly run the animation and we'll close it here. Thank you very much. We'll send you a feedback form. Please do fill it up. Let us know where we need to improve further. And thank you very much. We'll run this and then automatically band ho jayega because time is over.
Ji, Maria play करें.
Ji, Maria, please. Okay, so probably we have 1 minute or something. जब ये खुद ही it will go off, so it will go off. So basically, at the end of the day, innovation का लफ्ज़ भी I think obsolete हो जाएगा new normal में, because new inventions will come up, new realities will emerge. We have to come up with solutions जो उस वक्त के problems के हिसाब से होंगे. तो वो हमारे लिए तो innovation होगी, लेकिन उसके लिए बिल्कुल normal होगा. And I think students and all the bodies are ready for it. And there will be stressors and anxiety for some, but it will be very sweet entry for the others. So thank you very much. If any of the panelists want to say anything, you're most welcome. Otherwise, we are over with the session, sir. Thank you very much. So Maria,
Thank you,
I think
everyone.
I think it was a very good experience. Okay, so yeah, it was very good, and yeah, looking forward in the future for the more collaborations. Okay, especially I would say that this data science is a new thing, so you guys are most welcome if you want to organize new webinars, seminars. So I always be very happy to be part of this.
Great, thank you for your support.
Community, because as my colleague Mariam said, that I always believe on collaboration and the knowledge sharing. And I always advise even to people with whom I'm working, I always said that the key for your success is please share your knowledge and always to be like collaborate. And one more thing that Mariam said, that I'm teaching a course on data analytics for emerging technologies. So the first assignment I gave it to, very similar what she said, that I asked my students go and look for 2 industries where they actually collaborate with each other on the data, and they can bring some new insights. Okay, so it's a way of learning for people to think differently, like how company A can benefit from company B, and they can bring new maybe innovation or maybe new ideas. Okay, for the
So Mariam, your point was well taken, and mashallah, no, it was a great input from all of you, and I think there is a lot to be shared and discussed. इसके ऊपर तो हमें पूरा एक syllabus बनाना पड़ जाएगा to be candid on it. So it was all great. Very nice meeting you. Very nice knowing you all. And please stay connected. हम एक हमारा ना एक 10 minutes का हमने ICDF का एक बनाया हुआ है, एक प्रोमो जो हमने 2016 में बना के लॉन्च की थी, बिकॉज हम उस जमाने से कुछ प्रिडिक्ट कर रहे थे. एंड मेरी टीम ने, सारा वाज विद मी एंड अदर्स आल्सो, हमने बहुत ज्यादा उसके ऊपर इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करके चीजें बनाई थी. विल शेयर विद यू, वो आपको गूगल लिंक पे आ जाएगा, जस्ट डाउनलोड इट. 9-10 मिनट्स का है, देखना, अपना फीडबैक आप दीजिएगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. And thank you, Sarah and Mari and Sanan, everybody for all the help. And thank you, UMT team, for all the help. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, everyone.